Today I break down the most requested document on my social media. Look, if you're roofing sales or business owner, depends on insurance approvals, you're already in trouble. Denials are up, timelines are longer, and insurance companies are betting you won't fight back. Today I'm going to show you the exact letter that has overturned 90% of denials legally without public adjusters or attorneys, and why this is a bridge from insurance to retail. Now, you got to have legitimate damage, you got to have a good storm date, but we all know that if you had damage in the past and a legitimate storm date, then State Farm was one of the more reasonable contractor adjusters. We all know what's happening with Snake Farm. I don't know what happened, but about 5 years ago, they started denying everything. And it seems like now 70% of the claims from State Farm are going to be a denial right off the bat. And they're not the only ones. Some carriers have denial rates that have absolutely exploded. This isn't an accident, it's a delay strategy. So what's the problem? Is it all the roofers that are out knocking doors filing insurance claims? I think there's a lot of roofers out there filing claims on jobs that don't really have that much damage, but that's not the problem. Insurance companies delay, roofers float money, contingencies stall. That's when salespeople quit. That's when the supplements drag out, production stop. Recruiting dies because the paydays die. Insurance companies don't kill roofing businesses by denying claims. They kill them by slowing them down. So here's what we're gonna do about it, all right? This is a simple letter that has been asked and requested from me on social media thousands of times. I'm gonna break it down. It's called the magic letter. And how you set your customer up is everything. It's a letter written by the homeowner, sent after unfavorable coverage determination. It states that you, the homeowner, intend to pursue legal actions. It says, please pay my claim as presented. It includes photos. It says that we are gonna start the work within 30 days if you don't pay this claim. And it comes directly from the policyholder, not the roofer. Look, insurance companies don't fear roofers. They fear policyholders who are prepared. So one of the things that we use to really focus on preparing the policyholder is we show them example news articles of people getting dropped by their insurance company, of people getting denied, because it's one thing to talk about it, but you have to show, not tell, that there is a real problem. I don't know if you know the YouTube link with Senator Pauly. He was cross-examining Allstate, and Allstate really ripped this customer off. And a lot of times showing this video to a customer will help them understand that the battle that they're getting into. Now I want to break down the 3 exact moments that you need to use the magic letter. Number 1, after a denial or a partial denial. We love when there's a partial denial. When coverage has been extended, that is the greatest time for the magic letter. And what the magic letter is going to do is really customize the breakdown. We're going to talk about exactly what's going on the roof, exactly how much damage, and we're going to include a lot of photos. If I have a baseline for a magic letter and I'm talking into ChatGPT, the cheat code is to customize the argument for every single deal. The next time that you want to use the magic letter is when coverage has been extended, but the roof is not buildable. Let's say there's a half a roof. Let's say they've done a roof and basically they're not paying the right price. Well, that's when you tell the customer the best thing they can do is incur the cost. You get them pre-approved. The next time is that when you have a job that's underpaid completely, if you've tried to supplement it, if supplements have stalled, then timelines are being weaponized. So this is the last time to use the magic letter if you're trying to get a supplement approved. This is not a first move. This is leverage used at the exact moment they think that you'll quit. All right, my blue collar American dream brothers, I want to invite you to my backyard and give you a tour of my office, break down my system. The next mastermind we're doing is going to be a private island hangout. We just did one. It was super successful. It was last minute. We're going to do an event at my office where I break down each step of our sell, build, collect process inside of my office. Now, because it's inside of my office, there's a very limited number of spots. We're limiting this to less than 25 people because we are taking you from the office on the boat. In Naples, we have a private island. I just had a group of 21 guys that we took out to the island, got some good grub, played spike ball, got to hang out and really break bread, and the conversations in the boat on the beach. These are the real conversations that really drive the needle and sink in that this is a brotherhood. So look, if you want the blue collar American dream, click the link below. You can't miss the next island hangout. Let's go. This is the money section of the magic letter. Now, I just want y'all to know that when you sell a roof paid for by the insurance company, it's how you set your expectations with the customer that allows you to help and get help. And what you have to tell them is that you're going against the toughest negotiators in the world. If you tell the customer, oh, you have tons of damage, I guarantee you're gonna get the roof bought. We're gonna do the roof paid for by the insurance or it's gonna cost you nothing. We win every time. You're setting unfair expectations. You gotta tell them that the insurance company is the toughest negotiators in the world, that sometimes that you have to fight, sometimes you have to bring in engineers and attorneys. And one of the ways that I secure this magic letter on a transition to retail is I ask them, if I could get 50 to 80% of your roof covered, that'd be good, right? And once they say yes to that, then I know that I have a good customer, because at that point, the customer secures financing. We send a notice of intent to build within 30 days, which is the magic letter. Please pay the claim as presented. If you don't pay, we will sue you, and we're starting this roof within 30 days. At this point, the insurance company is officially on notice. The question insurance companies ask in court is always the same. If the roof was that bad, why didn't you replace it? The plaintiff attorney always goes to make the defendant look like they're trying to get a free roof off of marginal damage. And this is where insurance to retail clicks, because we tell this customer that after doing hundreds of thousands of claims, we need to give the customer the power of the purse. We need to give the customer the ability to answer, I fixed my roof, that's what happened. And once you incur the cost and there's damage, the insurance company must reimburse. So what happens next? A lot of times you send the magic letter, it says, please pay the claim as presented or we're suing you, and there's an escalation. A lot of times you can get a call within 2 days and the adjuster is going to call the customer and they're going to find out for real, is the customer serious? And the customer at that point has to understand, yes, if you don't pay the claim as presented, that I'm going to pursue legal action. So did you see my photos? Did you see what's going on? If the insurance adjuster says, are you actually building? The customer confidently confirms that we're moving forward with the job. A lot of times, the insurance company realizes that the delay failed, that there's exposure that's increased, that the lawsuit risk is real, and that is where they break. And so when the customer knows worst case, that he recovers 50 to 80%, and the key to recovering that 50 to 80% is to stand strong and get the insurance, then we prepared our customer like a attorney prepares his client to go make a deposition at court. Best case, we get full approval with no PA, no attorney. We've been using this in Connecticut, and Connecticut's an area where we don't have to use attorneys all the time. And basically, 90% of the time when there's coverage extended, we get this turned over, and it works so well because the carrier, it fears the precedent that's already set. They fear the policyholder escalation. They fear the documented intent plus incurred costs. Look, once the roof is built, the supplements disappear. Reimbursement replaces negotiation. This is the revolutionary idea, okay? Because before we'd go through 6 to 12 month inspections of inspection, re-inspection, engineer. And while we do all this, your sales rep is starving. And so you may not be able to build the roof for 6 to 12 months. After you do this magic letter approach, we have 30 to 60 days from the start of the contingency to build the roof. Cash flow is restored. A lot of our lenders, they allow us to pay a sales rep up to $1,000 up front because we get a draw on the money when it's an approved contract. The sales confidence skyrockets because they got a hard number contract tied to a pre-approved loan. They got cash flow to get through their life because, dude, if you do 2 retail deals a week, you can get $2,000 a week in upfront money. But the coolest thing about it is you're gonna build that roof in 30 to 60 days. And then you tie it to business survival when basically speed to being able to build the job is oxygen, cash flow, and it's referrals in the neighborhood. When you can't build, when you can't get approvals, you get suffocated by your lack of activity. If you want a copy of the magic letter, just comment magic letter below. If you have questions about using it legally, comment them. I'm not an attorney. I'm definitely not giving you legal descriptions, but all we're doing is empowering the homeowner. And I want you to ask yourself, are you dependent on insurance approvals to survive? Waiting on depreciation is a terrible business model. I call it death by depreciation. When I scaled to $60 million, it literally almost took me out. That means, let me explain death by depreciation, that you build the roof and you wait for the insurance company to reimburse the customer. You say, Lee, well, I get the depreciation sometimes in 2 weeks. Well, sometimes there's a supplement. Sometimes the insurance company takes 90 days to release the depreciation. Sometimes they don't get the invoice in time and it's 30 to 60 days before they get the depreciation. And what happens in that timeline with your customer? The customer starts counting your money. Maybe the customer gets mad at you. Maybe the customer's broke. When that money goes into the bank account, that money becomes hard to collect. It's slow cash flow in being released. It's slow cash flow in you getting paid. And one thing I can tell you is when you use the magic letter, you get them on a pre-approved loan, then there is a button the customer pushes for you to get paid. The money doesn't go into the customer's bank account and you can get paid the day you're finished with the roof. This is why you can cash flow. You also can set the price at a 45 to 50% margin and not have to worry about the supplement because the supplement's going to get paid up front and they're going to get reimbursed. So if you want this magic letter template, comment magic letter. I'll tell you how to get it. I'm going to reply to all the comments, any questions on how you use it, any specific kind of jobs. So this magic letter has been revolutionary for my transition to insurance to retail. I've been able to raise my prices, increase margin, speed up my timeline to build, which increases me being able to retain reps. And I've been able to turn denials into approvals and increase my closing percentage of contingencies to contract. This has been the foundation and revolutionary to retail growth. If you want to grow your roofing company healthy so that you can scale and exit, you need to learn how to get paid when you're finished on the job. You can't live death by depreciation. I want to invite you. We're having a scale and exit mastermind at my office. It's limited to 30 people, but we're also going to a private island. We had a lot of fun last time, a day and a half of training, a half day of having fun on my boat. I'd love to take you out on my boat. This is for people that are serious about scaling and exiting their roofing companies and that are tired of living death by depreciation. Look, comment in the description, fill out an application, and I'll see if we can get you in the next event.